Good morning, Julie Stitches Vintage here. The beginning of the year is the perfect time to clean and organize your sewing space. And I just about finished mine and thought, ooh, perfect time to give you a little video tour of where I spend so much of my time and some of the fun things I found that help organize all of our fabric and vintage goodies. So I am in the basement, a very small but cozy place. And the first thing I have is a place where I hang some of the aprons and things I found, things I made when I was young, and have saved my first communion dress and veil. All right, and over here are the shelves where I store my feed sacks, and I put them on the comic book cards and set them up by color, make it easy for shopping. And then, let me back up a little bit. I got these nifty stackable plastic shelves at the Container Store, but I'm sure that you can find them on Amazon as well. But I've got them kind of organized by what they are and by color. And at the bottom, what I have the most of, which is flower baskets. And then behind me is a little closet that holds all the things that don't look great out on display. My AccuQuilt, all of my zippers and things for zipper bags, just a bunch of basic fabric. Believe it or not, I have destashed this many times and it's still pretty crowded. Someday, this will all get donated to a community sewing room, I'm sure. And this was my initial sewing room 30 years ago. I had a place for a desk and I had shelves, and that was all I needed. I wonder what happened. All right, one of my favorite pictures my sister Laurie gave me. It's so perfect down here. All right, so here is the room, which I will just scan a little bit and then I'll tell you about the different things that are here. Okay, hopefully not make you dizzy. All right, I have two of these great carts where I put all of my in-progress projects. So everything I need to make this particular zipper bag, including the fabric, the vintage item, and the zipper. And I started doing this because I have an obsessive need for organization. It's really kind of an illness, but also because it makes it so much easier when I go to retreats. I just pack up these bags and I can sit there and work. All right, so this amazing cabinet was in my dad's office. He was an insurance salesperson and he had this for all of their office supplies. And it was sort of a yellowish color, blonde wood, I guess. And my dad has passed away. And when my mom was moving into a senior citizen's apartment, this was coming out of their house. It had gone from his office to the house. And so I stripped it, stained it, and hired the college hunk movers to bring it down in my basement. Luckily, it comes into two pieces, but it is fabulous and it is full. But at least it's labeled, so at least I know what's in here. Places for books and interfacing and all the things you could want. And then I spent a lot of time in retail, so setting up little displays is kind of my thing. And so these are the darker fabrics. And then over here we've got something I found in an estate sale to hold ribbon. I think it was for something else like spices. And all the goodies, and you can see right in front a Kelly Klein pincushion. And some quilts, things that mean something to me. The teddy bear my grandmother made, and the little duck was my husband's childhood pet, if you will, Stuffy. And then some quilts that were in the family for a long time. So let's continue around the room. So IKEA is an organizer's dream store. And a couple of years ago, I got these IKEA desk units, and they are great. So I've got my embroidery machine here. I've got some of the drawers labeled because labels are important. I can't bother to open it to find out what's there. I must look at the label. I hide some things underneath there, so there's a little curtain, a little heater, because yes, it does get cold here. All right, so going along the side, we've got, oh, some fun signs. My serger, my Bernina, and my poor Bernina doesn't get as much love anymore because I love my featherweight so much. And up here, I've got it was an old window, and I found it in my neighbor's trash as I was leaving for work, oh, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And I thought, it's in the trash, I can take it. So I turned it into a board to put memorabilia. A little cork board is under there, and then I can write things on the chalkboard. And it works great. And then continuing down, I showed this yesterday on my site. More IKEA cabinets. These are, I believe they're the Kalex ones. The little dress up here, my mother made when I was 2. And every little girl in the family has worn it. It is made of linen. It is lined. And look how cute the little buttons are, the way she sewed them on. So it has a special place in my sewing room because she taught me how to sew. And the little stitches up above I got for Christmas one year when I was a kid, and made those and thought, well, they need a space in the sewing room. Here's where I keep the fabric that I'm working on, the smaller pieces, I guess, fat quarters, and a little bit of yardage. And they're the things I use all the time when I'm working on my vintage items. And then I found these really great cabinets, or little drawers almost. They slide out at the Container Store. So this is kind of fun. And then back here on these doors, there are toys from our kids' childhood behind these doors on one side, and the other side has junk that I just stuff in there and then try not to ever open. But I found these sticky whiteboard sheets on Amazon, and so they're perfect to kind of keep me organized on what I need to be working on. Let me back up, and I've got a Simply 16 with the little foot frame because, as you can see, that's about all the space I have. But I love it, and it's very helpful when I'm doing baby quilts and sometimes with my vintage items. Plenty of lighting over here. Some more fun things. A featherweight that I picked up at an estate sale that I need to do a little work on, and then I'm going to donate it to the St. Louis Sewing Exchange Community Sewing Room, which is starting up, and they're going to have an auction. Hopefully get $500 for that. My dad loved to collect old signs, and this was a sign he had hanging in his downstairs, and so when the house was sold, I got it. There's my little train case, just waiting for fun. This cabinet down here, the 2 white ones here, were in my childhood bedroom. They've been painted many times, but have been a great for storage. And then cute little things that I've collected, found, that just are fun. All right, let's continue. Okay, this section is all of the things I need for my vintage linen work. This up here, I don't know how I came up with this idea, but because I like to collect old things, this is an old shutter. And I used to have all of these little linen quilt blocks and hankies in a drawer, and I would never know what I had, but now I can practically shop them. So I hung some cafe curtain rods, got the little clips to hold things, and now I can pull them off and audition the fabrics with my project, and it just works so well. Raggedy Ann and Andy. So the Raggedy Ann I made in about 1978 for one of my siblings, and the little ones I got at an estate sale, and I just thought they were cute, and they are sitting on the rocking chair from my childhood. And this cabinet has all of the things that I need for my vintage work. So quilt blocks, vintage pieces, trims, beads, doilies, some not layer cakes, but jelly roll strips that are vintage-like, but they're not vintage, and then some more fabric. All right. And then lastly, we'll come around here. Get out. All of my small pieces of vintage fabric and feed sacks are all attached to the side of this cabinet in little baskets that I just pull off, and can take them over to the table and work on them. All right, let's talk about this amazing table. It's actually a kitchen island from IKEA, and it is perfect. I love being able to stand up and work and cut. I had an old dining room table down here for years, and it really didn't work well. So the kids and my husband gave me this for Christmas one year, and it has been terrific. What I like about it, besides being tall, is it's got storage behind. Of course, I added a few lights. So I've got my rickrack and my lace and my buttons and my felt and lots of tablecloths around the bottom. I've got a little, I guess it was like a monitor stand. I got that on Amazon, and just a big cutting board. Because I sew here, I needed a stool to hold my presser foot, because I've got, not presser foot, but hold the pedal. So that works out really well. And then I've got a really tall chair, which works great. And then I've got an ironing station here with all the things that I need at hand in the drawers. It opens up so you can make it longer and pull it out. So that works out really well. And last but not least, a reclining chair. I've taken many a nap down here on this chair. My husband and the kids gave me this for Christmas one year, and I just love it. So that's my space. I love it and am so happy to spend time here. And steal any of these ideas you want. They have all been stolen from someone else once upon a time.